Good morning. Good morning. Day 44. Rise up in hope today. We are calling today new. I was just sitting here thinking about what it's like to have something brand new. And then I was thinking about what it's like to have, I wrote it down, the wide-eyed wonder of new. And when we rise up in hope, and so often I just begin to pray, thank you for the new day, Lord. Thank you for your new possibilities. Thank you for your new mercies, your new love, your new forgiveness, your new slates, your new paths, your new seasons, your new relationships. There's something about new that is hopeful. It is hopeful. And I jotted down some things that I want to just open up with before we go back into the book of Ruth. Ruth and Naomi are in a new season. It is restoring their hopelessness. They are being provided for. God is showing up and directing them, and we're going to go there. But before that, I thought it would be fun to just take a minute to embrace some new. Okay, you ready? Don't you just love getting a new shirt? A new shirt smells different. A new shirt is a pleasure to put on, a pleasure to show off. Even if it's not brand new, if it's somebody else's old and it's your new, I get excited. I get excited when we get blessed with clothes and I'm looking in the bag and I'm like, oh, let me just put this on. And then I wrote down, don't you just love new sneakers, new shoes? Sometimes when I go shopping and I wear my sneaks out until they have holes. I do. I just wear them out. I don't have, I just don't choose to have multiple choices. I wear them out. But when I go and get that new sneak, the first time I put my feet in them, even at the store, I feel like I'm on air. And sometimes I do crazy things, like I just start twirling because I feel so light and so easy with my new sneakers. So that is a beautiful moment. What about a new Bible? A new Bible, the leather, it smells so good. And though it's hard for me to depart with old Bibles because they're marked and they've got notes and sometimes I just put them right there next to me so I can pull out where I need to go, but I am getting ready to need a new Bible because mine is torn everywhere and I need to invest in a new Bible. But I was also reminded, when we went to Africa and a whole village got new Bibles, and that was like gold, because it is gold. And it was gold to them, and they were so excited, and people were crying, children were cheering. Ah, man, a new Bible to someone who's hungry is the best meal you can give. What about new leaves on a tree? New leaves on a tree are so green. The green is beautiful and they even smell fresh. And it is beautiful to watch the greens come in spring when the trees have been bare. And what a treat before they become tainted. And the last thing, not the last thing, new butterflies. New butterflies, the colors are vibrant. They have such a bounce in their step. I mean, some days I'll sit outside and I'll just watch these brand new butterflies start doing what they do. It is so much fun to gaze at the new life. New babies, new babies. Sometimes I want to put my nose on their head because there's something so beautiful about a baby's head. It smells new and like a baby powdered fresh scent. God has given us the blessing of new life. New life. And then I wrote down new paths, new seasons. When you're about to go or you're in a new season, it's exciting, it's terrifying, it's filled with suddenlies that hopefully are good. New relationships, new love, new mercies, new possibilities. So friend, today is a new day. Today is a new day. Fill in your blank, new, and just have a ball, because there is something fresh and wonderful and miraculous about new. So we are going to go to chapter 3, Ruth chapter 3, and a lot of news are happening in this moment. Boaz is a new relationship that God has brought into their lives. He knew about it, but they didn't know about Boaz and how good he is and how righteous and how much he is a man of honor and a man of integrity. And God has directed their paths at the end of 23 in verse 2. It says, so Ruth stayed close to the servant girls of Boaz to glean until the barley and the wheat harvests were finished, and she lived with her mother-in-law. So this is a time to come up for air, and yesterday we talked about coming up for air. I want to read the study app before we begin in chapter 3, just to set up what's going on. It says the threshing floor was the place where the grain was separated from the harvested wheat. The wheat stalks were crushed either by hand or by oxen, and the valuable grain, the inner kernels, separated from the worthless chaff, the outside shelf. The floor was made from rock or soil and located outside the village, usually on an elevated site where the winds would blow away the lighter chaff when the crushed wheat was thrown into the air or winnowed. Boaz spent the night because threshing floors were used for two reasons. To prevent theft, this is why he went there at night, and to wait for his turn to thresh grain. Threshing was often done at night because daylight hours were spent harvesting. So here's where we're going to begin, and I'm also just going to put out there that I see the Holy Spirit at work here, because Naomi gets an idea. And friends, sometimes the Holy Spirit gives us the craziest ideas, but when we do them, when we step out in faith into the unknown, sometimes our greatest blessings are waiting there. Listen to what happens. Verse 1, chapter 3. One day, Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, my daughter, should I not try to find a home for you where you will be well provided for? Is not Boaz, with whose servant girls you have been, a kinsman of ours? Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash and perfume yourself and put on your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do. I want to stop there for a minute because that sounds very strange. And I'm so glad I have my study app, because it can explain to me what on earth. Go and lie down by his feet. Now, for those of you who don't like feet, that would be a hard thing to do. Watch why. It says here in the study app, Naomi's advice seems strange, but she was not suggesting a seductive act. In reality, Naomi was telling Ruth to act in accordance with Israelite custom and law. It was common for a servant to lie at the feet of his master and even share a part of his covering. By observing this custom, Ruth would inform Boaz that he could be her kinsman redeemer, that he could find someone to marry her or marry her himself. It was family business, nothing romantic. But the story later became beautifully romantic as Ruth and Boaz developed an unselfish love and a deep respect for each other. That's good advice right there. If you want a husband, pray for one that is unselfish and pray for one that will respect God and respect you. So, it wasn't seductive. It was crazy idea, but look at what in verse 5 Ruth says to her mother-in-law. I will do whatever you say, Ruth answered. I will do whatever you say, Ruth answered. There was such love, respect, and trust between the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law that she didn't question it. She didn't say why. She didn't even say, that's odd. She said, I will do whatever you say. We can learn so much from the dialogue in the book of Ruth because it is respectful. It is full of integrity and character. Verse 6, so she went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking and was in good spirits, he went over to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and laid down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. I think maybe God did. And he turned and discovered a woman lying at his feet. Who are you? He asked. I am your servant Ruth. Remember, they didn't have light. He was laying outside in a field. It's very dark. Who are you? He asked. I am your servant Ruth, she said. Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are my kinsman redeemer. Verse 10, the Lord bless you, my daughter, he replied. This kindness is greater than which you showed earlier. You have not run after younger men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. All my fellow townsmen know that you are a woman of noble character. Although it is true that I am near of kin, there is a kinsman redeemer nearer than I. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to redeem, good, let him redeem. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. Lie here until morning. I want to just reiterate verse 12. It says, although it is true, I am near of kin, there is a kinsman redeemer nearer than I. That tells me that he's been searching it out. He's been already trying to figure out a solution as far as the kinsman redeemer. Yesterday we talked about that. And so, again, I have in the study app, each character, each person oftentimes gets a biography. And here it says Boaz not only did what was right, but he also did it right away. He did it what was right. He did it right away. Oftentimes, God gives us these crazy ideas. And if we don't do it right away, we delay. But sometimes the delay allows reasoning to take it away. And I caution us, if you are getting an instruction and you are thinking it might be God, do it and do it right away. Because that voice, that other voice, that one that says, oh, no, you don't want to do that. You don't have to make that call. There is nothing that you need to do. Just let that go. That's not God. And that delay could prevent an incredible opportunity for you, for the ones that are around you, because when we obey, everybody wins. And when we disobey, God isn't pleased. We miss out, and everybody loses. So here, Boaz is doing the right thing. He's doing the right thing because we've learned about the widow and the daughter-in-law that if a kinsman redeemer doesn't step up to the plate, they'll be poor and in poverty the rest of their days. And he has already displayed in chapter 2, I have heard what you've done. He knows that they're good women. They're noble women, and he wants to do the right thing. So he's already been searching it out. And he comes up against something that has to be fleshed out. There's somebody else before him. And tomorrow we'll talk about that situation. I don't want to move ahead because I want to glean with God for a minute on the work of the Holy Spirit, on when we get a thought. Could it possibly be God in that thought? And what if we follow through? I want to use the example of yesterday. After I was finished, I just began to sing alone with God, and as I was doing that, I heard, "This is for somebody." And there was a melody that was it just wouldn't go away. And so I had to act immediately because I was scared. And sometimes when I get crazy thoughts, I have to do them right away. Otherwise, I will reason it away. And I have learned that when I do things immediate obedience is full of blessing. And I was so greatly encouraged because yesterday several people reached back because I did something. I got out of my comfort and I just started singing, pushed the live button and started singing, and I got a gift from God, and I didn't do it because I was looking for a gift. I did it because I knew I had to. God said, "This is for somebody and not in your house. This is somebody else." And several people reached back and said, "It's for me, thank you." And wow, that helps me to be courageous and to do it next time. And sometimes you just have to practice being obedient. It doesn't happen right away, but with practice, just like with anything, with going to the gym, you practice working out, you're going to get your muscles. You practice doing the right thing, you're going to see the benefits of doing the right thing right away. And that's where we want to be as believers in Jesus. We want to do crazy things in faith. The way I see it is, if God gives me a crazy idea, I say, "Well, Lord, is this you? I'm going to believe it's you. So I am also going to believe that if it's not you, you're going to stop me. Don't let me do it if it's not you." And oftentimes it just won't happen. Like if I'm supposed to make a call that I feel like I'm supposed to make, and I pray and I just say, "Well, Lord, I'm being led. I feel like you, Holy Spirit, are telling me to do this phone call." And sometimes it goes right through. Sometimes it goes to voice box. And sometimes the number has been changed. And if the number has been changed, then I did my obedience. And maybe God just was testing would I do it anyway. So it is adventurous. It is childlike, wide-eyed wonder, friends. But it's worth it. Naomi said, "I'll do it." And she did it. And it was purposed in her destiny because she is about to marry the man God has for her. So, today's challenge is to ask God. Ask the Holy Spirit, "I want to do the right thing. I want to hear you better." And then I believe with all my heart that when we ask God, we ask the Holy Spirit, "Can I hear you better?" He's going to give you opportunity because He wants that for us. So be open to whatever your ears are hearing. When they start hearing something, even if it's crazy, pray about that. Say, "Is that you?" And then do it. Do it, because if it's not, God has got your back. He's got your back. Remember, in the New Testament, Jesus, someone was instructed, "Go get the mud and put it on your eyes and you will see." Now, I don't know about you, but that's crazy instruction, and the man's sight was restored. So, challenge today, start listening to the Holy Spirit, and then when you listen, obey. Obey, obey. Just do it and see what happens. There was this one incredibly beautiful time way back when I was in Bible college. We had a lesson, and it was in 1 Samuel, or is it 2 Samuel? I'm not sure. I'm just a follower. But it was in a time of practicing hearing the voice of God. And we had finished Bible class, and I got into the car, and, it was about speak, shepherd, your servant is listening. And as I heard that, I heard go to a specific 7-Eleven. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, it's late at night. It's not the best neighborhood. Did I hear you right? But I had to believe I did. But I had to believe, long story short, as I went to that 7-Eleven, it was almost 10:30. I'm out in the parking lot going, okay, speak shepherd, your servant is listening. Go in. I don't have any money. I don't have any reason to go in. Why am I going in? I had to go in to get the next. I went in. I'm going down the aisles, and I'm feeling really crazy and really terrified. And then I hear, go up to the person behind the register, this guy, young guy, and ask him if he needs prayer. Oh, let me tell you, back then, you want to talk about trembling. My whole body is shaking at this point. And I had a choice. Either do it or not. God was going to love me no matter what the choice, but I did. And I asked this young kid, I said, do you need prayer? Wow. It was a life-changing moment for me, because this young kid started to well up with tears. And he started sharing with me, I was just asking God, if you're real, do something. Show me who you are. And we had a holy moment, and that holy moment changed my willingness forever. Not that I've always done it right. I still get crazy thoughts, and I still tremble, and I still miss it. But more often than not, I do it. And it is glorious. So I pray for you today, friends. Rise up in hope with a challenge to be childlike with Holy Spirit, because He's awesome. And He is magnificent. And it's part of God's instruction for me today to tell you, leap into adventure with the Holy Spirit and ask Him for instruction, and then do it and see whose life, your life, will be changed. But maybe there's another life on the side of your obedience that will be changed. And I encourage you to do that today. Father, thank you. I had no idea we were going to do this today, but I thank you. I thank you that somebody's going to be encouraged. Somebody's going to be crazy today for you. And somebody's life is going to depend upon it. Holy Spirit, hover over the ones that you need to talk to, the ones that you are calling to listen to you for somebody else's blessing of life. I thank you for this. I praise you for this. You get your glory out of this. In Jesus' mighty name. Oh, have a blessed, wonderful new day. Amen.